Hello, everyone, and welcome to January's Studio Hours episode. This is episode number 4, and today we're going to be talking about implementing self-care routines. Around this time of year is sort of when everyone is gearing up to conquer their New Year's resolutions. And I love this time of year because it's exciting, it feels like a fresh start, and the anticipation of what's to come is really motivating. But today I want to talk about a practice that is often overlooked and undervalued. It can help you to not only reach your goals, but to avoid burnout or demotivation in the process, which is kind of, counterintuitive to what we want to do with our New Year's resolutions. And this practice is called self-care. So busy has become a default for many of us. We pack our schedules full, and there often seems no end in sight to the amount of things that we need to accomplish in a day. And if you feel like you don't have time for a self-care routine, then hint, you need it more than most. Practicing self-care is important no matter how overwhelmed you feel, no matter what your overwhelm level is. Turning the practice into a routine will help keep you grounded whenever you feel you need a chance to unwind. So let's talk about what self-care is exactly. Basically, it's time for you and you alone. It's the chance to unplug, disconnect, and recharge. And self-care can be anything you'd like, and it will be different for everybody. Everybody's going to have, what they feel kind of recharges them the best. What I'd like to discuss today are some guidelines for implementing a self-care routine. And I say routine because it's important that this is a semi-constant presence in your life. So the first guideline for self-care is to not use it as a last resort. You don't want to only spend time for yourself when you're desperate for relaxation. Not only does that mean that the time you do spend relaxing is somewhat forced, but it sets up a bad habit for the future. It's much better to consistently take time out for self-care. Why? Because then you hopefully never get to that desperate, really need a break state. With a routine or habit, you'll be continuously lowering your stress levels, keeping them in a lowered state, in a more manageable state, as opposed to waiting until they're completely spilling over. And the second guideline is to set aside the time for self-care and then protect that time with all you've got. So that means nothing short of a major emergency is to intrude on the time you set aside. This is very important. Your needs are just as important as everyone else's. So if you're dealing with people that seem to need you constantly, kids, for example, you can do a few things. You can make sure the time you choose has the least possibility of interruption, and you can explain what you need to the people around you. Maybe turn it into a game for the kids, ask politely of the significant other, whatever you have to do to kind of explain what's going on. Then turn off your phone, or better yet, don't even have it with you, and take the time you've blocked out for yourself with no guilt. This is the biggest thing that I find people have trouble with when they start implementing a self-care routine, is not that it's not something good for them, but that they feel like they're taking something away from somebody else. And that's simply not true. If you're not sure what to do as part of a self-care routine, here are some ideas. You can read a book, take a bath, meditate, work on a project all for yourself, take the dog for a walk, have a cup of tea, do some yoga, go for a swim. You can really do whatever you want that is relaxing to you, that will allow you time to recharge, take a step back from the day-to-day, anything that, kind of gives you that chance to just chill. So whatever works for you is what you should use. But please, when implementing self-care, do not forget the routine aspect. Get into the habit of caring for yourself, and you'll thank, yourself. So please share your thoughts on self-care in the group and let me know what you thought about this episode of Studio Hours. We'll be back next month, and thank you guys for listening.